So Cathy, tell us why our subconscious minds have so much power over us.
Well, the reason is it's estimated that approximately about 3% of your processing power is your conscious mind. The rest of it, the other 97%, subconscious, autonomic, automatic. You don't think about how you digest food. You don't normally think about how you breathe. All your habits go on automatic pilot. So by far, our greatest processing powerhouse is our subconscious mind. Scientists will tell you that the power of the subconscious is perhaps 1,000,000 times greater than the conscious mind.
That's amazing, 1,000,000 times greater.
Yeah, and the point of that is not to say that your ego and your will are weak. They are extremely powerful. The point is to recognize that as powerful as they are, there exists an asset within us that is even more powerful than that. So that's why I work with the subconscious mind and why I encourage other people to get their subconscious mind on board in trying to make what they want happen in their lives. We normally try to make what we want happen through our conscious determination and our ego and our sweat, blood, and tears,
right?
Which is tough going as is.
And I'm very familiar with that, which
right.
You've helped me with.
Right. So, but especially when it's going over and against something in the other 97%, it becomes a task of Sisyphean proportions. You remember Sisyphus, right? The king in Greek mythology who was punished to an eternity of rolling a boulder up a hill,
right?
Only to watch it roll back down again.
Right.
So if you think of your subconscious as a computer,
right,
you understand that it's going to take its programming and run with it.
Right.
And it's your job to make sure that its programming is in functional, if not optimal, alignment with your goals. And you do this by programming, reprogramming, and debugging at regular intervals and in concert with those goals as you become aware of them, as they change, and so on. So the great news is that once you get your subconscious on board, that Sisyphean mountain turns into a molehill. Much like instituting your habits, you don't actually even institute them. Doesn't take a lot of thought, doesn't take a lot of effort, you just kind of do them. That's the power of your subconscious mind, and that's the power of the asset that we're all born with. And your job as president and CEO of yourself and your life is to get the most out of this most dependable and capable employee that you will ever have at your disposal. So it's much less about asking for permission than it is about gaining mastery and being adept. So step one, after you recognize the resistance, is to be humble. Don't assume you know anything, let alone everything about your resistance. You want to trust the subconscious long enough to learn from it. You want to trust that it is something intelligent and wise to say, because it does.
What you're saying is it's about listening to the wisdom that we can find in our resistance. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. So step two is to get specific. What is the fear or fears exactly? What are the associations with having or getting what you want? What exactly is it that the subconscious is looking out for? You want to interview your subconscious like you would anybody you're trying to get information from, which is with genuine curiosity and compassion. You want to let it make its case. You want to hear its case because there is priceless wisdom and information in there for you. So step two is to get details and applaud whatever you find. Applaud it before you judge it. Because what you normally associate with you is by far not the smartest thing within you. The next step, step three, would then be to make a promise, right? You want to set the intention to work it out with your subconscious, not to work against it.
I love that.
Listen, friend, I hear you, I understand what you're saying, and I really appreciate you looking out. If greater success means greater strain, more exhaustion, having less freedom and time for myself in my life, I won't do it. I will only do it if that's not what it means, I promise. And then of course she wants to be a good partner in crime for herself to rely on, which means to keep her promise. But in any case, by making this promise, you see the tension is dissipated.
Right.
And it makes space for herself and her subconscious to open up to the idea of success and to pursuing it.
Hearing you say is through making the promise, it's about honoring what is truly important to ourselves and making a commitment to ourselves to really honor that wisdom and honor what we truly want in our lives. So what's step four?
Step four is to get examples. Let the subconscious know it's possible, to let it know that it is possible to marry or to satisfy all sides of her heart and mind. The subconscious will do anything that you tell it it's possible. So the more examples that she finds and gives, the more she encourages and reinforces the idea this is definitely possible, and lets her subconscious know what it's working towards. Step 5 is to solidify and affirm. So the more you ingrain your new perspective in your subconscious, the more you can capitalize on its power and its resources to facilitate and even to execute towards your goal on your behalf. Which of course, right, means it's easier to materialize, to manifest it, to get what you want. And more than an affirmation, because an affirmation, right, it implies a kind of I have to defend or I'm proving something, and so there's an element of doubt.
Right.
You really want to think about it like a reminder. It is a reminder. It's a reminder of what is possible. It will also serve as a reminder of the road, the only road in light of the promise that she's made above, that she is taking. She wants to repeat it as often as feels good to her, but before you fall asleep, right before you fall asleep, right upon waking, and during after meditation are some of the best times to access the subconscious mind. And capitalizing on the wisdom that exists within you, which isn't just your ego and your consciousness. Like, you're brilliant, there's a lot of power there, there's a lot of intelligence there, but you can also make use of a greater amount of wisdom and insight that's within you too. So that's why I work that way. Yeah. Step 1 is to, after you recognize, is to be humble.
Be humble. Awesome. Step 2.
Get specific.
Get specific. So we want to get the specific details about what that fear is and really interview our subconscious and know specifically what those fears are. Mm-hmm. Step 3. Step
3 is to make a promise.
Mm-hmm. So make a commitment to yourself that you're not going to go there if it's going to mean all those bad things that perhaps you were afraid of. You're only going to get the thing that you want in the way that's going to feel the best for you and it's going to be in alignment.
Right.
Step 4.
Step 4 is to find examples.
Find examples.
Exemplary examples.
Exemplary examples. I love that. That's really key. So really look around, and we can look around to anyone, whether it's figures in history, someone we know,
yeah,
someone we don't know.
You can even be the first example on this planet to do it that way. And I really do encourage people to do so that they provide an example for the rest of us.
Very cool. So that was step 4, and step 5?
Step 5 is to solidify and affirm.
Solidify and affirm, and you said some of the best times to do that are before we go to bed, or after or before meditation.
Yeah, or right upon waking.